Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, Moonlight 6 of another furry visual novel. This one being Moonlight Castle, a game about, as we look at the synopsis, it's a slice of life, supernatural, horror, mystery, and romance visual novel. The story revolves around 8 college students getting together to explore a ghost castle discovered by a certain someone. Question: is the castle haunted by ghosts, or is it like a castle that's all disappeary, reappeary, kind of stuff like that? I don't know. You'll live their college life during the day, hang out and socialize with your friends in the afternoon, then investigate the ancestral ruins when the sky becomes dark. Multiple paths and choices will be available, some leading to worse or better outcomes. It's all up to you and your partner to protect your friends and find the truth. 7 main routes will be open to freely explore, allowing the player to see the game from different angles and perspectives. It's romance, safe work, and NSFW too, and heavily tailored towards adult audiences. So also, before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, it's available free on itch.io. But if you want to help support the people that make this game, or get the news version earlier, you can go to Patreon, where it's $6 a month. Is there anything else to say before we start this game? Don't think so. So let's reset our face and begin. Day uno. Dawn. User sensitive to flashing lights may turn off dynamic themes and settings. So kind of like if we're being the BBC, caution, this has flashing lights, so if you have something, then please do not look at the screen, because dynamic lighting themes. A quiet one it was. Too early for crowded streets. There was no sound but the chirping of crickets. Sometimes a passing car would cough up smoke as its rubble was bouncing off the road, and I'd cover my nose, hold my breath, and stare yearningly at the clean sky. Sitting atop my favorite tree stump, I watched the world unfold around me, and it never stopped. A yawn escaped me. Don't talk about yawn, you make me yawn. Even an early bird like myself was destined to bear the strain of Monday morning. The week just repeated its cycle, and everyone, myself included, wasn't ready to do it all over again. An average life for a college student. That was what I had going on, and sometimes the routine became such a burden that I wished I could just throw it away. Then, as if to interrupt my thoughts, the phone in my pocket, without making sounds, stirred just enough for me to notice it. I unlocked my phone and read the message I received. Make sure to come to school today. I have something to tell you, and everyone else. Why'd it be in question marks? Also, I guess this means text? It was from Liam, one of the few friends I made in college. We shared some classes, and eventually, we found ourselves talking to each other more and more. I didn't plan to skip class today, so I wondered if something unusual was going on. I texted him back and watched the double check marks appear on the side. His reply came rather swiftly. It's a secret. You'll hear more about it later. Knowing him, I figured that he'd been up to no good again, though maybe I was just being an idiot and overthinking it. Regardless, I was a bit annoyed by his vague wording, so I decided to put the phone away without replying. Then, my phone vibrated again. I wasn't going to answer anymore, but I was curious to see what else he had to say, and if it changed my mind. After unlocking my phone, I saw a text from an unknown number. Not what I expected. Enter a name of choice. The chosen name is unavailable. Please try another name. Is this us or someone else? Okay, let's call him Bob. Or us. I miss you, Bob. Despite how strange it was, I texted back, afraid of leaving this person hanging, so it was our name. You may have gotten the wrong number. That's not my name. It startled me as I hit send. I was greeted with a pop-up message that would appear whenever somebody tried to send a text to an invalid number. I tried it a few more times, and they were all to no avail. Then I simply gave up. This weird bug was puzzling me. Although I felt bad for the person, I didn't think that contacting the operator just to answer to a stranger was going to be worth the effort. A few minutes passed, and a car came and stopped on the nearby sidewalk. Man, stopping on a sidewalk? Rude. Immediately, I recognized whose car it was, and I was already taking my bag and walking hastily towards it. The car's window was opened even before I could get my hands on the door. Press H while in-game to show or hide user interfaces. Okay. Damn. Today, you're up even earlier than usual, Joel. Is he Joel? I swear that someday you'll stop sleeping entirely. I guess so. Ryan greeted me with a big smile, unlocked the door for me so that I could get in. So wait, he's Ryan and we're Joel? I went to bed early, that's all. Quickly, I came in with an excuse, somewhat embarrassed to be called out. You're doing that hat thing again. It gets me every time. It makes you smile. When he said that, I realized I was tugging down my hat. It was my reflex at this point. I'd do it whenever I felt nervous, and I'd always be surprised each time I did it, as I'd never noticed that until I was doing it, even though the hat would obscure almost half of my vision. Stop! The bear was trying to set my eyes free, and he was being quite gentle with the way he was going about it. However, my hands refused to cooperate. I wanted to readjust my hat myself, and he knew that. It seemed he was enjoying himself, though he was teasing me, as always. Still, I didn't really mind it. I'd always liked his playful nature, even since we were kids. We have time before class. Do you want to go somewhere? While Ryan was waiting for my response, I peeked out into the rearview mirror to make sure that everything was in order, mostly the blonde tuft he'd recently dyed. I couldn't help but let out a chuckle in front of such a display. Okay, you brat. I'll let it slide this time because I'm teasing you. Well, now, answer me. I should have known that he was going to notice and try to get back at me. I guess I shouldn't have laughed at the way he was adjusting his hair. I played with my fingers as I thought of a response. I don't really have a preference. Maybe you could just drive me to school? That works too, right? Ryan raised a brow as he stared at me, and soon he began to lean toward my shirt to take a sniff at it. Okay. I slightly backed off the moment his giant nose approached me. Did you skip breakfast again? I don't smell food on your shirt. I stayed quiet. His guilt was preventing me from saying anything. He'd know I was lying, no matter what. Do I have to remind you? But breakfast is so extra. I prefer to save my hunger to enjoy a better lunch. I spouted my hot take at him, though it felt a bit uneasy, as I knew he'd already known how. I'm just thinking of things. How I thought about breakfast, and how he destroyed me in this debate. Oh, this is a Mercedes. Fancy car. For fancy man. I was like, this car looks a bit familiar. I don't own a Mercedes, but a family member does. Yin. Me, I'm a Honda guy, because Hondas, they're a nice, well-rounded car. Hyena. The bear narrowed his eyes, seemingly ready to scold me. To my surprise, though, he held back and returned to his seat. The engine was turned on shortly afterward. There's this place I found near campus. Can we get there okay? Okay? I didn't see the point in arguing. Deep down, I knew he was right. I was just lazy, and unless I was really hungry, I wouldn't bother. Alright, you got me. I'll have something. Ryan looked a bit more relaxed now. It seemed he was satisfied with the medal trophy. He just gone from this silly debate. It was on full display, all over that soft face of his. Smoochable face. Trust me, you'll love it as so much that you find that you yourself will ask there to go there again. He laughed, and I just rolled my eyes. There was no way that would happen. His eating habit had just set its roots in me ever since I started living alone. The leftovers were the only expectation to that rule. I doubt it. Come on, would it kill you to be a little extra excited? I would be even satisfied with a simple, "Oh my god, Ryan, I was so looking forward to it." Not so simple. I looked at him, perplexed by the way he was doing that impression of myself. I don't sound like that. You don't, but I mean, you could. Dumbass. You'll be the dumbass once you get there. Their egg and McMuffins are great. It started to intrigue me at this point. Ryan was placing so much expectation on this mysterious place, and his enthusiasm was contagious, to say the least. You tend to like everything your paws land on. The bar doesn't hold much. Oh, like raising the bar and stuff like that? Okay. That's not true. There are things I won't eat. Name one. I smiled as I watched the bear struggle to come up with a response. The tables had turned, and I loved every second of it. I got one. Remember that family party we went to last month? Ryan. Let me finish. There was a barbecue, remember? One of the sausages fell on the floor, and I told you I wouldn't eat it. See? I pinched my forehead, knowing if I should be laughing, not knowing if I should be laughing or concerned. Yes, I remember that, but I also remember you screaming that wasting food was unacceptable, and I watched you clean the sausage, cooking it for an extra 5 minutes, and then chowing that thing down. I've eaten floor burger before. Like, one time I got a boiga from, college, and then it fell on the floor, and I was like, that's an entire burger. I'm not gonna waste a boiga. I am wholly opposed to, throwing away food and stuff. It was fine, though. It tasted great. Didn't even get sick either. That's not the point. In that moment, I could see Ryan slowly show his face of a realization. Slowly show the face of realization. Oh, yeah. I kind of forgot what that point was. The bear scratched his beard, probably trying to hide the fact that he was embarrassed. Meanwhile, I was laughing at how silly this whole thing was. Oh, right, and I completely forgot in the beginning, if you want me to play this game, tell me and give it a point, which will put a bit more influence in me playing this game first. And then... beans. Oh yeah, if you have any other games to suggest, tell me, and I'll add it to the quick look list. Then, I shook the car when the car came to a sudden halt. I had no idea we'd reach our destination. It was so fast that I was still processing what had just happened. What about the boiga? He's a big boy. Ryan was the first to get out of the car. I was worried that they might be upset, so I rushed out as well. I tugged his jacket a few times, so he turned to face me. What's wrong? He looked quite relaxed, as usual, and there was absolutely no sign of him being mad. Nothing, just thought you were upset about what I said earlier. Never mind. Of course not. Ryan patted my head and helped me calm down fast. What are we anyways? Joel, you're my best friend. We make fun of each other all the time. I'd never be mad at you. He reached his hand out to mine and held it tightly. It made my heart skip a beat. Let's go. I'm so excited to show you the place, even if you aren't interested. I can't wait to get in myself. I never said I wasn't. His strength was overwhelming. He dragged me inside, right past the sign on the floor, titled Special Menus at Saffron Stash, and it was no use to me trying to protest. Though I still quite enjoyed the moment, as my mind was focused solely on our hands holding one another, and I was flushing beyond reason when we entered the building. I guess, face flushing. For me, I was like, wait, flushing? Like a toilet? Ryan took me all the way to the counter and promptly seated me on the stool, letting go my hand. I didn't need to look around too much to give him my first impression of the place. It's empty. Also, this is a bar. Usually, there's an old man sipping a cup of coffee while reading a newspaper in the corner. I raised my brow, unsure of what to say. One person wouldn't really change it much. I could see him growing impatient. The place was supposed to leave me impressed, and I'd hate to see him disappointed. Therefore, I decided to give him a chance and waited. Russell, where are you? There was a bell in the corner. Yeah. Ryan didn't hesitate to yell while he was repeatedly pressing it. To be honest, at this point, I was already feeling a little nervous. Then, a bull appeared in front of us, making little to no sound. More like a buffalo, I would think. I wondered if he was a ninja, or the noise Ryan made was helping covering his tracks. I'm here. Stop making this ruckus. Judging by the bull's calm reaction to what Ryan did, I could tell that the shopkeeper was already well acquainted with the bear. Also, his high-level voice and soothing demeanor was quite charming. His level voice. Okay, I might just restart this entire thing. I don't care for 17 minutes in. I've made too many mistakes. Ooh, woo. Reset face to make me feel a bit better. Ooh, woo. Russell, where are you? I don't see you. Don't you leave the place untended like that. Wait, where were you? Okay, game move. Read the words. I had no customers, and it'd be a waste to stay put when I could be managing things in the back. Nevertheless, what I do or do not or don't doesn't concern you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry. Can I have the usual? The shopkeeper turns himself around and gathered up all the ingredients that were lying on the shelf. Your turn was expected, so I've already prepared the usual, or rather, a variation of it. Please, have a taste. I could sense an emission of confidence from the way Russell delivered his words and operated the machine. Looks incredible. The bear seemed thrilled by the brewing process and the bull's mastery. He gazed in admiration at the shopkeeper's movement and became completely charmed, like an audience mesmerized by magic tricks or magician's tricks. Though I couldn't tell exactly what was so special about the cup of chocolate drink that the bullvine just made. Are we talking about a mocha, or are we talking about like chalky milk? And before the idea of asking Ryan for a taste came to me, he had already slipped it all down. Well, I guess I wasn't a fan of sweet things anyway. I cut down the sugar after noticing how much you tend to guzzle down your desserts. I hope you understand. He's not sad, he's just disappointed. The moment Russell finished saying that, I could hear the sound of Ryan's heart shattering. Looking at the way Ryan was taking a good swig of the chocolate, I was sure that he trusted the barista that the drink would be to his liking, and from the lack of immediate complaints, it probably was. However, the not so subtle notion that he could cut down the sweets was truly a huge sign of betrayal. The poor bear must be astounded. Holding back my laughter, I was trying my best not to cut his words his wound deeper. That was great. I didn't notice anything different from the one I had yesterday. I wasn't really sure if the bear was being sarcastic, but most likely he was telling the truth. Still, it must have been crushing for him to be told he was giving a diet version. What would you like to order? Sorry, I think I'm hitting my limits in reading abilities because I don't know, it feels like it's not like something that recharges every day. Like, I feel like I need days to recharge it sometimes. Finally, Russell acknowledged my presence and fixed his eyes on me. I didn't know what I wanted, and was neither thirsty nor hungry. Though, earlier, I guess Ryan was kind of pressuring me into getting something. A coffee, maybe? Right away. No. Before the shopkeeper could start brewing, Ryan interrupted him. Give him the chef's special, like how you did for me. Immediately, I thought the drink the bear had just gulped down, and I wasn't very interested in that. I'd rather not have what you had. Ryan scratched his head. It's not going to be the same thing. Russell will try to guess what you'd like to have. That sounded crazy to me. However, before I could say anything, Russell cut me off. It'll cost more than if you were normally to order the same thing, and there'll be no refunds if you end up not liking what you get. Do you agree to these terms? I didn't have a lot of money on me, and I certainly didn't want to waste it on gambling on my food. Yeah, that's okay. Go for it. Ryan, wait. I don't think I have enough money. I know. It's fine. I dragged you here, so this time I'm paying. Sounds good? Are you sure? You don't have to. But I want to. Stop being silly. I brought you here exactly for this reason. Now, watch how Russell does his magic. I didn't know what the bull had planned for me, but one thing was clear. The fact that he was picking up a pan made it obvious that he was going to make a dish rather than a drink. Unless it's one of those special kind of drinks that you make in a pan, and then serve in a hat with a plum. Though I didn't think I was hungry. In fact, I'm pretty sure I wasn't. However, soon the smell hit me and awoke all my senses from their slumber. Mouth watering, nose twitching, I found myself craving whatever it was, much more than I'd ever craved anything before. For some reason, watching him flip the ingredients and sprinkle the condiments was relaxing, and I felt even hungrier as I kept looking at his maneuvers. The bear on my left was making low giggles, but I was too busy hooking up with the food to care. I mean, I'm reiterating it, but it still reads the same to me, hooking up with food. I'd never smoked, and I believe that feeling I was having would resemble that which people would experience at the start of an addiction. Maybe not start of smoking, but start of addiction, I guess. Because I feel like when people start smoking, it's like, oh, this is terrible. But then they start liking it. I guess you could say the same thing for alcohol, too. It's like, wow, this tastes like shit. And then later it's like, this doesn't taste as bad, and I like being dwinky. Also, don't drink or smoke, kids. Uncontrollably. As soon as Russell slid the plate to me, I put its contents in my mouth without even bothering to check what they were, also note to self, defrost food. Eggs and bacon, huh? Smells nice. I knew exactly what Russell wanted. The size were as clear as day were signs. Though, if he really wanted to take a bite, he would have just asked me directly. The bear was eyeing me for the entire duration of the meal, watching me take every bite, as the food slowly decreased into nothing on the plate. Russell, that was amazing. I never thought that eggs could be this tasty. It only takes a little effort to improve anything when one knows the ways, Joel. Also, I guess I would have to do the regular thing is, where do eggs come from in this universe, man? Because it's like, okay, usually it's like, you got mammals. Mammals are the ones that are top of the list. Then, like, maybe lizard folk. Then it would be birds. And and then fish life, and then bugs. On what would be anthropomorphized in universes. It's really weird to see glory hounds having like bugs in their universe. And it's like, huh, don't think I've ever seen that before. Well, at least in a visual novel. I mean, I've done a lot of visual novels, at least, for the quick looks, and I don't think I've ever seen that. I winced a little as I heard him say that name. I didn't think we'd introduce ourselves to each other yet. You know my name? I blushed after bristling out that question. Do I know you? I had that feeling that you looked familiar, but I couldn't recall where we've met yet. Ryan told me about you. We also attend the same college. You may have seen me in one of the classes. Oh, that's why. Now, Joel, tell me your thoughts about this place. Ryan was definitely trying not to look too excited, and it seemed he had the idea of what I was about to say as well. Regardless, I guess he still wanted to hear my words come from me directly. Why is this place so empty? Your food's excellent. Clearly, you deserve so much more. Do you see the path Ryan took to bring you here? That would be the answer to that question you just asked. I couldn't bring myself to admit that. I hadn't been paying attention to the road at all while Ryan was driving me here. Too embarrassed to say anything, I gave the bull nothing but a light nod. I don't know. You could just get a social gathering, or, social, is that what it's called? Social media stuff, and be like, this is one of those Poland safari places that are so excellent, and people would come here all the time. And somehow I'm brought back to the time that I worked on the ship for 2 months, didn't have any sort of internet connection, was a bit hungover when I got onto board, and I brought my laptop into a place and was on the internet for hours, just binge drinking teas and coffees. Was hungover, but I was like, I'm here, I'm going to sit here drinking coffee and soaking up as much internet as possible. Yeah, the place is quite deep in the alley. There are at least 3 other bars that are close to the main street. Ryan rescued me by breaking the silence. I wondered if he knew what I was thinking, or if it was just like a coincidence. Also, there's this thing that just came to mind, and I just type it here, so I don't forget it. Sorry. Is this place doing well? Russell was quiet for a moment. My question must have been tough. Still, he didn't react much. I saw only a slight pause in those movements, although it was pretty difficult to notice. Income was low, but steady. We're fine, thanks to our loyal customers. And it seemed there wasn't much emotion in his voice either. Ryan banged his fist on the counter and scared me in the process. I never did well with loud noises, especially if they were sudden. Can I help somehow? I don't want you to lose your job. Ryan was so desperate to help, even though the situation didn't call for it. Just keep coming. Buying your breakfast here, and bringing more people. Also, what's with that angry face being like, just bring more people? The shopkeeper's words seemed good enough to placate the bear's urge. However, I'm okay with coming back, but next time I'm going to get some to drink too. There was minimal movement in Russell's head to indicate approval of what he said. Just looking at my phone because there's a notification. Then, soon after that, the bull turned around and concentrated on washing the utensils. Compared to Ryan, Russell was much less expressive and a little more difficult to read. It was as if they were the polar opposites of one another. Ryan paid for my meal, and this time I really wanted to give him something in return, but the bear shunned me. He'd done so every time I tried. Why can't I buy something too? Because you said you can't afford to waste money. Isn't that why you skipped breakfast? I couldn't believe that he just dropped it on me like that. Although I knew he was only trying to look out for me. I couldn't help but feeling bad about it. He'd helped me so much that I wouldn't care if it was running low in cash. He helped me so much that I wouldn't. And I would have gladly handed over what little money I had left just to help him for once. Let's just go to school. Don't be like that. I wasn't trying to be mean. Also, hold on a second. Okay, it was just brown pants. For a second there, my mind was like, he's not wearing any pants. Though he isn't Winnie the Pooh. Pervert. Not wearing pants? I guess a lot of other people don't wear pants. Does anyone in that universe wear more than Pooh wearing a shirt? It is kind of funny when, like, you have anthropomorphic animals and it's like, they're fine, and then you could put a bit of clothing on them and it's like, they're naked. Like Donald Duck, who I think I've heard is, like, banned in some country because he doesn't wear pants. I don't know. At some point, maybe. I walked to the car without turning back, and Ryan chased after me as soon as he finished waving goodbye to Russell. I'm not mad at you. Those words didn't match my tone, and how I let such one simple mention get to me was vexing. The look of concern never escaped the bear either. Just thinking about stuff. Tell me, talking it out helps. Trust me. I really wish it was that simple, but even I didn't know what I was going through. Talking was the opposite of what I wanted. I'd rather bury my feelings where they came from, down in the hole they escaped. How I wish I could ignore them. Yep, that is a good way to deal with mental stuff. And that's a lie. I'll be fine. Eventually, these feelings would go away. Surely. Wouldn't they? I just need a minute. The bear sighed. He must have felt guilty, and the guilt surely was bothering him. I didn't think there was any way to make the situation less awkward. Ryan continued to drive, and after a short while, the campus was in sight. Do you have plans for lunch? He stammered several times as he tried to come up with something to say. He probably didn't like that our conversation ended on a sour note, and the silence was adding an extra layer on his shoulders. No, I don't have. Great, I'll treat you to lunch. I shot him a deadly glare. We'd already discussed this more than once. No, you already got me breakfast. Did you bring your own lunch then? Of course I did. Where is it? In your bag? Are you really going to check without even asking me first? Can I? No. Why? Because I said so. You didn't bring lunch, did you? I have enough to buy a small thing later, okay? Can we stop doing this? I was beginning to get tense, but both of us realized how dumb we were being over something so stupid. There was no problem other than the one we're trying to make. I'm sorry. No, I should be the one to apologize. I wanted to help, and I didn't realize I was crossing the line. It's not okay to force you to eat, and I don't want you to make you hate me for it. Are you kidding? I'd never hate you. You're super sweet, and I'm the one acting like a brat. Then, what about us sharing lunch instead of me buying it for you? I guess I could use a bite, as long as you don't keep looking at me with those puppy eyes while I eat. You're the one giving it to me. You're the one giving it to me? I don't know. Ooh. The bear stared at me, probably longer than he was supposed to. I could perfectly imagine the internal conflict he was going through. I'll try. No promises. You're unbelievable. Ryan stopped the car and grabbed his bag. The bag looked way bigger than usual, and he wasn't the type to carry around a lot of stuff. I need to turn in a few late assignments, don't mind me. I took another look at the bulging bag and wondered if he mixed up the definition of a few with something else. A few. Huh. Don't question it. I'll see you at lunch. Sure. See you later. I picked up my stuff from the passenger seat and left the car as well. Once again, I was alone. Or rather, just without friends, since the building was actually pretty crowded. The entrance was bustling with countless people, and I had to kindly shove aside a few of them that were blocking the way. It had been so for the past 2 years, and the same Prismora at the top was probably Latin. I guess it's those things where it has like a bunch of people and animals and stuff at the thing. I have to look that up. Prime Rosa. I mean, it shows flowers. I don't know. Though I couldn't care less about checking the history of my university. And, with only a little bit of struggle, I managed to pull myself through the crowd and ended up inside the building. Joel, good timing. Come here for a second. It seemed my alone time had come to an end, and it was way faster than I expected. Apparently, the door leading to the student council's office was left open, so it caught the current council president's attention as I was shuffling through the entryway. The dragon was doing his usual morning routine, flipping through papers, seeking out students, and listening to them, and then reporting back to the professors. Surely there was a lot more, but this was all I knew. Surprisingly, I knew so little about this guy and his work, despite having been in consultation with him for a few times now. Good morning, Clyde. Busy as always? It looked like he was indulging mostly in a pile of papers, his eyes delving through into the documents thoroughly. I could tell from his expression that he didn't find exactly what I was looking for. Still, it didn't seem like he was ready to give up. I'm never busy. I'm operational and active. That, what you're seeing is trivial. If you don't see me being productive, you have my permission to be concerned. Taking breaks is important too, though. Do you ever get burnout? I don't have the luxury of going through such an awful thing. I have a strict schedule that I must follow. Apparently, it appeared he wasn't the type to waste time. I couldn't understand him. To most, work would be the journey, and the profit they earned at the end would be the reward. To him, however, work itself seemed to already be the reward, something I enjoyed doing. I brought the documents he asked me to. I'm sorry, I can't take them right now. Would you give me 10 minutes? I need to deliver these to the class on the second floor. Oh, sure. I'll come to the council room later. Later. I called you here for another reason as well. Apologies for dumping this on you. I'm extremely occupied today. I need you to run an errand for me. Sure, I'll help. But it also depends on what it is. I'm not very good when it comes to bureaucracy. Is that what it's called? No, nothing like that. I summoned you here because of Blake. Today, he attends the same morning classes you do, on the 4th floor. However, due to my current circumstance, I can't fetch him myself. Would you please go and get him for me? I'll take your documents then. Sounds simple enough. I've got this. I'm grateful. Thank you. How the dragon never appeared to be overwhelmed by anything really impressed me. Not once had I seen him hesitate when doing the task. He just finished talking to me, but for the whole time he was talking, he was also flipping through papers, signed them properly, and arranged them neatly in a folder. And he wasn't slow either. The guy was a machine, unstoppable, relentless. He'd always followed a strict schedule and never missed a point. He was punctual to the extent that he'd never be caught showing up early or late. I don't know. I feel the thing where it's like a person's like, it's good to never be late, but it's kind of weird being like, being early is not particularly great either. It's like, I don't know. I like being early. In some circumstance. Got him. It was quite stunning to see him do what he did. Truly. Having exited his office, I continued to walk down the hallway, and then looked at the towering staircase that I'd have to take in order to get up to the 4th floor. As a matter of fact, I was considering taking the elevator. However, I didn't like the idea of being stuck in a cramped space with the people I barely knew. It seemed my laziness was no match for my social anxiety. Beginning to regret not going to the gym with Ryan, I figured that maybe I should have trained a bit, so that the steps right before me wouldn't have resembled a giant mountain. I took a deep breath and began my journey up the blocky hills. After a few excruciating minutes that felt like an eternity, I pushed through. To think that I pushed myself to an extent just to avoid standing next to strangers. Actually, the more I thought about it, the more I came to realize that I'd totally picked the stairs again. I entered the classroom and dropped myself on my usual seat. Ryan must have been here earlier because I found his now empty bag lying on another seat. I looked around and tried to identify Blake among the classmates, and if it seemed the wolf hadn't arrived yet, there's still another hour left before the class, so I was planning to look for him, but then, eek! I jumped as my shoulder was tapped from behind. The yelp I made was probably too loud too, because now all the classmates that were sitting or strolling nearby were turning their heads to look at me. Yo, Joel, relax, it's me. That's not a wolf, that's a lynx. The person that tapped me put his hand on my upper arms and turned me around so that I faced him. It was Liam, and from the look on his face, he was most likely sorrow as well. Certainly, the lynx didn't expect me to react in the way that I did to such a light touch. He adjusted his glasses and we proceeded to greet one another once both of us had calmed down. Can we forget that ever happened? I said in a low voice so that no one else would hear it, and the lynx seemed to understand enough. However, it appeared the other witnesses didn't think the same about letting go of my stupid show. Do you see how much he jumped and freaked out just like that? Is he okay? Ashamed myself, I covered my face with my hat as the crowd of classmates began whispering to one another, and I didn't really want to listen to any of them. Am I a twiddle? Do you think he... Though soon after that, I took a peek as I heard a shuffle. He's a short stack. It seemed that Liam was digging through his bag. The bag was ginormous, and it took him a little while to find what he was looking for. He pulled out a creepy mask and wore it proudly in front of everyone. The whispering started to simmer as their attention was drawn to him. This belonged to an infamous assassin who'd peel off skin of his victims. It looked like he was trying to help me in his own way by scaring people away from us. He used this knife. Quickly, he raised the cleaver from the bag and flashed it. There was even fake blood dripping slowly from the blade. How'd you keep that dripping? Anyways, some of the classmates realized it was just a silly stunt. Others, with a naive soul, however, began to scream. Lillian got a good laugh out of the latter. This guy's out of his mind. But soon after that, I carefully emerged from under my hat like a toidle coming out of a shell. Things eventually got back to normal, and Liam returned the items to his bag. Hey, thanks for the help? He stared at me without a word spoken. Then, an evil-looking grin took his shape on his face, and it felt like I already knew where this was going. My immediate response was to groan. You owe me one now. I didn't ask for your help. To save your ass, I had to perform a stunt and plan to use on someone else. What if my target was in the crowd and then saw it? And the surprise would be ruined. With such risks in mind, I demand compensation. I'm busy. Clyde asked me to look for Blake. I turn around and proceed to walk away. I had a bad feeling about this, so the sooner I could leave the classroom, the better it'd be. Where are you going? We're not done yet. He tugged my shirt, and I kept marching without looking at him. However, we were two nerds, and our strengths were about the same, so he was somewhat keeping me in place. I'd walk a bit, then he pulled me back to where I was. Just come with me then. I'll listen to what you have to say. And to get you to stop whining like a baby. Liam then let go of my shirt and matched my speed as we walked out of the room together. I really went to shake him off, but he had absolutely no idea how. But I had no idea. So, about the compensation. You're not going to let me go until I give in, are you? It's something fun, I promise. He planned this from the start, hadn't he? I refuse to join you in pranking people. I don't want to scare others, and neither do I want to laugh at them, especially at their expense. Let's just not do anything stupid. You make me sound like an asshole. Come on, my stupid idea saved you, didn't it? I guess? It did, didn't it? I rolled my eyes as another self began to contemplate how far I was willing to go in order to return the devil's favor. As my other self? You just needed to lure the target to me. They'd never expect it from you. It's perfect. I don't want to be your accomplice. If you want to get in trouble, do it alone. I feel guilty, no matter how little I contributed to the mischief. Though, strangely enough, I kind of already knew what was going to happen, and somehow, it felt like I was going to let it happen. Just feign ignorance. You don't need to do anything other than bring him to where you need him to be. Who's this person? I'll tell you after you agree. He put on a wicked grin again. I smelled trouble every time I saw it. I don't like you're telling me that you're not telling me who it is. I have an idea who the person might be. And trust me, you'll be punched. You'll be punched? And that'll be well deserved. Joel, please, I swear, just this one time. Actually, I was already giving in to the dark side at this point. If Liam was going to be punched, then I thought it would be a little worthwhile to stick around and see. I'll even do something in return. Anything. Look, I can... As we approached the edge of the boys' restroom, Liam stopped in his tracks, and I didn't really notice until I was already headed into the restroom. However, realizing the Lynx didn't follow me, I peeked into the hallway to check what was going on with him. He backed off and covered his nose with both of his hands. Somebody did a dookie. We forgot about it, huh? Liam hated the smell of cigarettes, and we should have known that someone would be smoking in the restroom. Blake was also a smoker, so the chances of him being the one producing the nasty odor were high. I'll wait outside, maybe a little further back, near that window. Okay, I'll be back soon. There he is. Boy, he looks all hippie. Also, why didn't you smoke outside in like a designated area? I don't know. Sorry. My search ended the moment I reached inside the restroom. It was a small room with just one window in the back, and the wolf was there, sitting on his favorite ledge, smoking. Though it seemed he was lost in thoughts, he was only admiring the scenery outside the window. As I drew closer to him, his ears flicked. Morning, Joel. How are you doing on time? We can go just a little bit further. I didn't get a chance to speak with him before he recognized it was me. You mentioned that each person had their unique way of walking, or something along that line. However, they all sound just the same to me. Hey Blake, how are you? Rarely did the canine keep his eyes fully open. Only a sky worthy of a stare might give a motivational look. I wasn't sure if it was his character, or if it appeared only so because of the bags under his eyes. To me, he looked like he was tired all the time, like a flower standing against a storm, weary and damaged, beautiful the same, prevailing by the youth in his blood. He didn't want to give up, despite the fact Mother Nature had a different plan. I blinked, uncertain of what to make with all of his words that he just threw at me. So, you're fine? He chuckled and finally turned his face to me, although it wasn't long until he closed his eyes again. Some would think he was drowsy, but to me, he seemed fully awake. Full of piss and vinegar, he was. I was only trying to sound poetic. Clyde recommended this book to me. It's about short poems, and I was inspired to make some myself. Thoughts? I scratched the back of my head, trying to recall what he said earlier. However, the only reply I could see was in full random and disconnected bits. The entire thing was already gone. Maybe warn me about it next time? I wasn't prepared. I was hoping to observe your reaction of someone who wasn't ready for it. I apologize. I let out an awkward chuckle. It seemed everyone had their eyes on me today, because I'm the main character. If the smoke is bothering you, don't hesitate to tell me, okay? I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. I'll just go somewhere else, where I can't disturb anyone. I chuckled even more at the thought of him hiding away from people. He'd been caught lying in the smallest of corners of the building, smoking, and staring away at the sky. Any room would work for him as long as it was secluded, even locked ones. What about Clyde? I can't disturb him if he doesn't see it. I smiled at his comeback. Surely, people will trust him enough to believe that his little mischiefs were harmless. He just wanted to find some peace and quiet, and I understood that. So, should I stop? Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked. Well, you know that I don't mind the smell, but I'm rather concerned about how much you smoke. Depends on the day. I'm sorry. There's some things that one can't simply let go. Do you want to talk about it? I was worried about him, but I didn't want to be like Ryan. Whether or not the canine wanted to open up on his own decision was his own decision to make, not mine. The only thing I could do was remind him that he had friends to rely on. I appreciate the offer, but I have to refuse. I do not need to hear it. I wanted to argue, but I knew that I'd be fighting a losing battle. Therefore, I simply moved on to the real reason I was looking for him. Clyde asked me to come get you. It seemed as though he was having trouble. Blake sighed as he took a look at the remainder of his cigarettes. He made a grunt, as well as a big puff, one last time before he was forced to put it out. I think with that part, it's a good time to call it. We're 53 minutes. You've studied in papers. When it comes to work, you need to be more patient. Not everything has to be done immediately. I didn't have all the details, but wholeheartedly agreed with the wolf. Are you alone? You're the one that walked in. The only one that walked in. Pretty sure I heard more footsteps. Oh, that was Liam. He's waiting outside. Even before he could finish mentioning Liam's name, Blake took a small bottle out of his pocket and used it to rinse his throat. Makes sense. Give me a second. It seemed he was trying his best to get rid of the smell for Liam's sake. The Lynx didn't deserve that treatment, in my opinion, but I preferred to keep that saving myself. Okay, now with that scene change, it's a good time to call it. It's funny that I do these saves, that even if I play this game for like a Let's Play, I won't do this. I would just redo it and then save over it, you know? And that's going to be the end of this quick look. So, please comment, guys, like, comment, say what you like, dislike, tips, as always. If you like my YouTube and like Sigurd, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos epic, and please remember to ban your animals to help control the pet population. And if you want me to play this game, then tell me, and I'll give it a point. which should put more weight on me playing the game. And if you have any other suggestions for games for me to quick look, then tell me, and I'll add it to the list. And yeah, if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. But if you want to make this game and I get the news version earlier, it's on Patreon for $6. So let's see. Looks like you've met everyone except for a tiger, a crocodile. Yep, we've met everybody except those two. And yeah, let's see what's on for next week. Boop. And then we'll close this. Then use the random number generator of fate. I might have to move that one. I don't remember not doing that one. I have to look it up. Well, let's just add that to the list. And what was it? 5? Random number generate. Right? I know how to spell random. Random number generator. And what was it again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Survey says 4. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Le Tribe. Oh, it's the tribe, not Le Tribe. A game about ladies? Boop. There we go. Which, yeah. Let me just look at the synopsis. 18 plus visual novel about a man who wakes up naked on a riverbank and finds himself in a post-apocalyptic world where he's the only intelligent male among women. Got the ladies, which is available free on itch.io, but on Patreon, just looking at the thing. Tip box, early access is $5 a month. And until next time, another quick look. I'm Who 6 of, professional novels. So thanks and see ya.